It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio today. Yavapai County Health Department Epidemiologist Stephen Everett is back in studio. Welcome back.
Hi, good to be here.
And with the coronavirus going on and being the big story in the news for so long now, a couple of weeks now, I thought it'd be good to have you come in. We did a little story with you a couple of weeks ago, but there's only so much you could do in 30 seconds. So for more information about the County Health Department or any part of the county, just go to yavapai.us is the website. All right, where are we at with this coronavirus and just what is this thing?
Okay, well, coronavirus, first of all, is a large family of viruses, and a lot of them are very common. There's viruses circulating around right now that cause common colds. So people can have a coronavirus and just get a common cold, nothing to worry about. This particular one is known as 29nCoV, or 2019 novel coronavirus. This particular strain is different from the common strains that float around in that it's highly infectious and very fatal. There's about a 2% fatality rate about now. So there's been about, as of this morning, there were 1,000 deaths from it and 43,000 cases. And all of them, except for one case, has been in China of the deaths. And we've had about 12 cases here in the United States. They're all contained. There hasn't been any local transmission out in the public in the U.S. So nothing to worry about here just as yet.
That number jumped considerably. I think Friday was at 640.
Yes.
We're up well over 1,000 now, just a few days later. Is it fast as well?
It's going from getting sick to death.
Exactly. I catch it. It seems like it's going fast.
Yeah, it can go for a few days. That people will just have like a mild symptoms and then just go downhill really fast. Mm-hmm. But then there's also been over, about 4,000 people who've recovered. Okay. So that's still 4 times more than have died. So
it's not like some people have a weakened immune system or anything like that. The coronavirus is just hitting them harder? Or?
That I don't know. I haven't seen any figures on who's been getting sick. We're
still working this out, aren't we?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, this is brand new. This is just hey, I just got born.
Exactly.
Okay, so how does that happen? Can we go back and talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely.
Can you kind of clue us in on how we know what coronaviruses are? At least I thought I did, but you're telling me here before the show that no, this is not that and that's not that. But how does something like this get started? Because it's brand new.
Well, much like flu virus, there's thousands and thousands of different kinds of coronavirus, and they affect different animals. Flu virus can affect humans, pigs, birds, horses, dogs. There's even a whale flu virus.
Oh my gosh.
And some of those can jump species fairly easily. Birds, pigs, and humans, they tend to share a lot. And then like with whale flu, it doesn't jump. In this case, they're thinking that humans were exposed to an animal coronavirus. I think the most recent idea that it's from a pangolin, which is a armored anteater. And it's an exotic food that is I think it has to do with Chinese medicine, and people will eat it thinking some sort of medical benefit from it, but they got coronavirus from it. The outbreak they traced to a market in China, and that's why they're thinking that it was an animal to human jump. And because it isn't supposed to be living in humans, it tends to be more fatal. Just like any other animal, viruses, they don't want to kill off the host because then they kill off themselves. It's better just to get them sick or not even sick at all so they can continue propagating.
So jumping to the humans was not a good idea for this coronavirus.
Not a good idea at all.
But there it is. So was it something that they consumed the virus? They actually ate the virus? Is that what we're thinking?
Don't know. It could have been it probably wasn't eating it because it's a respiratory virus, so it would have to get into the lungs, probably when they were butchering it.
Okay, they had live animals there and they were butchering it.
Right, or because they usually have live animals, they like it really fresh. If the animal was sick and expelling the virus and a person was close enough to get it, it starts there. It finds that it lives in a human, so it can jump from human to human.
Do you know much about the doctor that found it? Because he died of it as well. And he was, from what I'm hearing, he tried to alert people that, hey, there's something new here. It's brewing. It's here. And they said, you just need to be quiet about that.
Yes.
And now he's died from it. So what do we know about?
Yeah, freedom of the press isn't that big an idea in China.
Right. Uh-huh.
So he said to his fellow doctors that, hey, I'm seeing these cases. I think something's going on. It resembles SARS. We should look out for it. And I guess some of the other doctors released it out, and so it got into the general public. The Communist Party wasn't too happy with it. The police cracked down on him, saying he was disturbing the peace, essentially, and he actually had to go and apologize publicly for scaring the populace. Mm-hmm. And so it turned out that he himself got it, and he passed away just a few days ago.
Right, yeah, just the end of last week he passed away. I remember seeing the story about that. I thought, well, that's crazy.
Yep, no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah, right, exactly. So you were telling me, and I've been telling my wife too, that I thought that all flus were coronaviruses. That coronavirus is just a name that encompasses all, but the flu is the flu.
Yeah, flu virus is a totally separate family of viruses. There's flu viruses, there's coronaviruses, rhinoviruses, which cause the common cold. Those are all respiratory viruses, but they're not related to each other.
Did this give an example of how fast something can travel when it needs to travel?
Very much.
Yeah.
Back in 1918, when we had the Spanish flu, it took about 8 weeks to cross the United States. And so that was the era of steam locomotives. And now here we are, we can travel across the world faster than we could travel in 1918 across the country. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't be unusual for a person to be exposed in China, get sick in the United States, and it just spread across the country.
And you were telling me it had a 2.5.
It's going about a 2% to 2.5% fatality rate. Uh-huh. So which is high. About influenza, the 1918 influenza, that was about a 2.5% mortality rate. Usually with common flu, that's about 0.04 of a percent.
Okay. How many people die of the flu every year?
About between 15,000 and 60,000.
Okay.
So, we have 1,000 here. We're about a little over halfway through the flu season, so we've had about 20,000, 30,000 deaths here in the U.S.
So at the moment, the flu is still deadlier than this coronavirus.
Oh, much deadlier.
However, this one, it caught everybody by surprise, just how fast it started moving around.
Yes.
And then people started dying really quick, too.
Right.
And you were telling me on the phone when I did the interview with you that it's the pneumonia that's getting people.
Yeah, a regular flu will just cause respiratory symptoms, fever, sore throat, cough. But if it gets worse and develops pneumonia, that's when it gets really bad because it's a virus, and so antibiotics don't work against it. Antibiotics only work against bacterial pneumonias. So they have nothing really to combat it except for Tamiflu, some of the antivirals, which really don't do as well a job against viruses as antibiotics do against bacteria. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it's just supportive care and just trying to keep the person as healthy as possible, pumping with fluids, and hope their own immune system is able to fight off the infection.
Oh, wow. Okay, so let's take our first break, okay?
Okay.
Yavapai County Health Department epidemiologist Stephen Everett in studio today. The county website is yavapai.us. This is Countywide. We're talking about the coronavirus. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Feng Shui Artistry, the oldest form of development planning, today known as the art of placement. For 26 years, master Feng Shui educator, practitioner, artist, and author Caroline Patrick Bournet has used ancient rules of environmental, physical, and spiritual harmony to support clients' health, knowledge, creativity, and success. In mapping your home, you'll understand yourself. Better living is the gift of a lifetime. Change your life one room at a time. Schedule your Home Therapy 101 consultation today.
Show your customers how much they matter to you. Follow up with a real card in just 60 seconds with Send Out Cards. Send Out Cards makes it easy for busy professionals to leave a memorable impression. Stay in touch with a simple one-step process from your phone or computer to their mailbox. Call Judy today at 928-202-2557. That's 928-202-2557.
Been hearing about the crazy benefits of CBD? Find out how CBD can help you at Sedona's #1 resource, CBD Sedona. Come in for a free consultation and let our trained medical staff help you find the perfect product for you. Pain-relieving salves, full-spectrum oils, honeys, teas, cookies, and even CBD for pets. Ready to feel fantastic? Come on by CBD Sedona today.
Metaphysics. What does it mean? It's a branch of philosophy, literally beyond the science of matter. Sedona's University of Metaphysics studies the ultimate nature of existence, reality, and experience. Join 14,000 graduates in over 120 countries, helping others in counseling, coaching, ministry, and much more. The University of Metaphysics is here to serve the best in you so you can serve the best in others. universityofmetaphysics.com.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking about the coronavirus with epidemiologist Stephen Everett from the Yavapai County Health Department. Do we see this thing, gestation period, 2 weeks? So if I have it, it can sit inside of me for 2 weeks. Is that right?
Yes. And what's unusual is it transmits even when you're not showing any symptoms.
Oh.
So it won't transmit as well because when you're coughing and sneezing, you're spewing out a lot of air, a lot of moisture that'll keep the virus alive. So it doesn't transmit as well, but it can transmit.
Is that unusual?
Yeah, you don't see that too often with these kind of viruses. Usually it's, you have to cough, you have to sneeze to really get the spread. You usually have to do droplet precaution. So it really will only go about 6 feet away. So as long as you stay away from people at least 6 feet, you're pretty much safe from getting it, as long as you don't touch stuff too.
Right.
Yeah.
So at least 6 feet from somebody, you should be okay, because if they cough, it's just going to reach out for you and say, oh, I can't make it.
Yes.
Straight down.
Yes.
But somebody who doesn't even know they have it and is feeling healthy and fine, I could possibly have it and give it to you, and we wouldn't even know it until possibly 2 weeks later.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So where are we at in terms of the quarantine? Because I know there's cruise ships sitting in docks.
Yes.
There are airplanes. There are cities and towns that are quarantined. The Olympics are in jeopardy this year because of the coronavirus. When do we know that it's kind of done its run and we managed to stop it every which way it went?
You're going to start seeing the number of cases drop. Right now it's still on the increase, though it is starting to slow down a little bit. But when it starts dropping, that's when you know it's really getting under control. As long as it keeps increasing, it's not. With the United States, all the people that come in from China, that go through China, are identified. And when they come back to the United States, they're tracked. So they make sure they don't have symptoms. They want to find out where they were in China to see what their level of risk is, and then they're followed. If they're a high risk, they'll be put into quarantine. Low risk, they'll just be followed. And the health department will follow up with them to make sure that they're not developing any symptoms. And if they do, what they have to do to not infect anyone else.
Is this something we can, as the people come in, we could just swab them and test that to see if they've got it or not, or we actually literally have to see it start to come on?
The test is fairly new. Only the CDC could do it, but now they're sending out kits to the local health departments now, or the state health departments. So they'll be able to do it as well, because it's a new virus, so they didn't have a test for it. So they had to develop the test, and then they had to mass produce it to get it out to everyone. So they haven't been able to do that yet. So mainly they're doing just by symptoms. And then if a person has symptoms, they test them. So they're not testing everyone, just people with symptoms.
Do we know enough about this thing? Or is there a lot more to learn about it?
Oh, there's probably a lot more to learn. Yeah. We still don't know what the fatality rate. It's been running about 2 to 2.5%, but it could be lower than that because we don't know people who have mild symptoms and are not going into the doctor, or people who are infected but have no symptoms. That's a possibility as well. So it usually takes a while before you really know. We're still learning about SARS, and that was 15 years ago.
Okay.
So.
And SARS is a coronavirus, is that
SARS
right?
is a coronavirus,
okay.
And it's entirely possible this will be like SARS, where it was there in 2004 and it just mutated out of existence. You don't hear of any cases anymore.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's even a possibility, because these things, they're constantly evolving.
Yes. Yeah, viruses evolve and mutate all the time. That's why we always have to get flu virus flu shots every year, is because the flu viruses change over time. And so last year's strain won't necessarily be this year's strain.
You find that pretty amazing?
Oh,
As an epidemiologist, you've got to be like,
yes.
I know it's got to say, but this has got to be kind of an interesting time for you because it's something brand new.
Oh yeah,
right here.
It's always interesting. You know, any virus, bacteria that's novel just comes up. We always get really excited about to see, what happens with it, where it came from, where's it going, how it's affecting people, how to prevent it. So it's what we do. And
we're at all those stages right now, aren't we?
Yes.
None of that has been ironed out yet. There is no cure for this thing.
There's no cure, but we do know how to prevent it. It's the same as flu virus. You want to cover your cough, stay away from sick people, wash your hands, don't touch your face, try to keep it out from your mucous membranes, eyes, nose, mouth. So pretty much it's the same method as that. So essentially all the respiratory viruses, you can protect yourself just by following very common hygienic practices.
Hygienic practices.
Yes.
I like that. Now, there's been I remember, was it the H1N1 where the hand sanitizer became the thing?
Yep.
The everywhere there's a pump thing you could.
Yep, the swine flu back in 2009.
Swine flu in 2009.
That's when it became really popular. But you still, if you have a choice between the hand sanitizer, washing hands, wash your hands.
Somebody was in here once and said if you run even cold water over your hands for 30 seconds, it's enough to wash bacteria off your hands.
Yes. Yeah, but soap and water is the absolute best.
Soap and hot water.
Because the soap, it breaks down the fats in your skin, so it really sloughs off the top layer of skin, sloughs off everything, and that's the better way of doing it.
There's a lot
soap is good.
And the reason I bring up the hand sanitizer is because I've noticed there is a huge demand for the surgical masks.
Yes.
And I see people walking around with a surgical mask on, and I think, well, your eyes are still out there. And you were just talking about membranes.
Yes.
Any open kind of membrane. Well, that's right. My eyes are still. I guess I'm cutting it down by 2/3 of where I could possibly.
I mean, you really don't want people coughing in your face, because any of the droplets that you're trying not to inhale can float and get into your eye. So you're helping a lot by wearing the mask, but you should wear eye protection as well.
Really, the thing you got to do is keep your hands out of your mouth, keep them out of your nose, and keep them out of your eyes. And that's a difficult thing to do, Stephen. I mean, come on. My hands go everywhere.
Exactly.
We use it for everything. I'm touching this desk right now. Somebody could have been sitting here and had it, and then I do this, and boom, now I've got it.
You don't even realize you're doing it. You just scratch, you just naturally do that. But yeah, just every chance you get, wash your hands. And just remember, even though your hands are clean, doesn't mean the person ahead of you cleaned. So there could be germs on the handles of the faucets, the door, going out of the restroom. So you always want to watch out for that too.
There's probably people out there that walk on eggshells every day, don't they? Just because they're worried about what is going on out there.
Yes,
for sure. So it could be a little while before we find out what this thing is going to do, where it's going to head, and its total impact on the world.
It's something we say, don't panic yet.
Don't panic yet.
Yeah, what you want to watch out for, that's when you start to worry is when you start seeing transmitted locally in the United States. When you see cases living in the United States, transmitting to people in the United States that aren't household members. We've had a couple cases where the people were infected in China and they infected their spouse. But, spouses, you sleep together, so you're breathing 8 hours right into their face. So that's not unusual. We don't really consider that a second case, so to speak.
Gotcha.
Because a household, you're always sharing the same germs.
Yeah, we certainly are.
Yes.
Let's take another break. Yavapai County Health Department epidemiologist Stephen Everett in studio today. Website is yavapai.us. Stick around, countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
Breakthrough Medicine's Dr. Shada Sina offers comprehensive hormone testing and customized hormone therapy with a focus on lifestyle medicine, weight loss, allergy drops, brain and digestive health, seasonal detox, and nutrition. Dr. Sina is a referral physician for Suzanne Summers, specializing in bioidentical hormones for men and women. Breakthrough Medicine is located in Cottonwood's Hot Yoga Plaza. Call for a 15-minute complimentary new patient consultation, 928-649-0269, or visit online at breakthrough-medicine.com.
From inspiration to installation,
If you need help with your decorating plan, call the pros at the Picture Window. We are your #1 source for top quality blinds, shades, shutters, and flooring. We've been in business here for 41 years, and our delightful sales staff has decades of experience. We're the locally awarded Best of the Best in both Sedona and the Verde Valley.
Don't pass up a free estimate on your project. Call the Picture Window now.
Paul Stanley here with Stanley Steel Structures. We offer shade structures that provide style, value, and performance. Our Equinox louvered roof opens and closes to give you the ultimate patio experience. We also offer Alumawood shade covers that looks like wood but lasts like steel and never needs painting or maintenance. Visit us at StanleySteelStructures.com. Contact us today and be covered tomorrow. Stanley Steel Structures. Let us add some space to your place.
Feng Shui Artistry, the oldest form of development planning, today known as the art of placement. For 26 years, master Feng Shui educator, practitioner, artist, and author Caroline Patrick Bournet has used ancient rules of environmental, physical, and spiritual harmony to support clients' health, knowledge, creativity, and success. In mapping your home, you'll understand yourself. Better living is the gift of a lifetime. Change your life one room at a time. Schedule your Home Therapy 101 consultation today.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left of the program. We're talking about coronavirus. What was this virus called again? It doesn't really have a name, does it? It's like a number.
It's the official name is 2019 N for novel, CO for coronavirus, well, corona, then V for virus. So 2019 NCOV.
We had a case in Arizona, right? A couple cases?
We have one case in Arizona so far.
Okay.
Yes, and it was a person who was in China and came back to the United States.
This all originated kind of the Wuhan area, right? And you were telling me that that's like the O'Hare, Chicago O'Hare in Wuhan.
Yeah, it's like the Chicago of China. It's a big transportation hub. It's located in central China, so a lot of stuff moving through China will go through Wuhan.
Are you surprised that we stopped it as quick as we did? At least it appears that we stopped it as quick as we did.
Yes and no.
Okay.
I would have thought that it would have made a bigger jump overseas just because China is such a big manufacturing center, and so a lot of international travel would be going through it, but we've been really lucky. Yeah,
and then all the product they ship out of there too. I mean,
yes.
Anybody sick in a loading area just... let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Once I cough it and it's out, how long does it last for before it dies?
That, I don't know. I haven't seen that, but usually with viruses, it's not that long after. I mean, they need to have an environment to live in.
Okay.
So droplets, once the droplet dries up, it doesn't have that much longer to live. Mm-hmm. There are viruses that can last longer, but from what I've seen, respiratory viruses, they tend to die off fairly quickly.
How often have you seen this happen in your career?
Of just totally new viruses?
Brand spanking new.
Let's see. There's, swine flu. There's been the SARS, which is coronavirus. Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome, which is also a coronavirus. Ebola coming to the United States. That was interesting. So yeah, it's been a few cases, and there's some make a jump, some don't. Like a few years ago with the Zika virus, that was the big thing, and it really didn't make that much of an impact in the United States.
Well, we were watching for it. I know that it was blood donations were affected.
Yes.
And I remember that each time I had somebody come in and talk about it, we knew a little bit more. It was a little bit different each time too. So yeah, there's a lot of learning to do. Hantavirus is one that came up for me that I had never heard of before, and doing stories on that with the urine and feces of deer mice up in the Four Corners region, making people respiratory illnesses and getting them sick as well. So yeah, I've gone through a few, and I think I've probably gone through all these with you.
Yep, Hantavirus, that's another family of viruses. That's just one type of hantavirus up in the Four Corners area. There's old world hantaviruses that cause a whole different type of symptoms than it does in the United States. So a virus doesn't necessarily, one virus, even if it's in the same family, isn't necessarily going to cause the same thing as another virus.
Gotcha.
And it doesn't necessarily have to affect humans as well. For example, whooping cough. whooping cough is actually related to dog's kennel cough. They're both Bordetella. But whooping cough generally goes around humans, and the kennel cough, it can affect humans, but they have to have like a really weakened immune system, so it really doesn't affect them too much for a healthy person. Okay. Two cousins, but they operate in two different total areas.
Well, we'll just keep track of it. We'll just keep track of it. We're out of time.
Yes. Okay.
Yavapai County Health Department epidemiologist Stephen Everett. Today we're talking about the coronavirus. The website again, yavapai.us. That's today's countywide. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.